the good senator from Nampa, District 13, Senator Brian Lenney. Are you with us?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Very good. Yes. Hi, Senator. Good to see you. How's it feel to be back in the Capitol?
Oh man, I mean, I've been here for a couple hours, and it feels the time between sessions since I've been doing this. It feels like years. It's only 9 months. We're
Yeah.
gone kind of 9 months, but I feel like I haven't been here in years because I try
Yeah.
to keep it very part time. So
Good for you. Good for you. Okay, so obviously today the big day, the big moment is Governor Little's address. What are any expectations? Anything you're hoping to hear? What are you feeling going into today?
I mean, I know they did last week a legislative preview, kind of like here's what we're going to talk about. And I was talking with another senator about this morning in the hallway. The priorities are kind of, I think it's just kind of, you hear the same thing every time. Education is always huge, huge, huge. School choice. I think Idaho, we're going to hear how awesome Idaho launch is. I disagree, but I think it's a lot of the same stuff we've heard the last couple of years. There's just new spins and new slogans on it. What I would like to hear or see is an emphasis on really curb stomping illegal immigration, and that's a multifaceted thing, not just not just dealing with the illegal immigrants, because I don't blame them, honestly. If I was in Mexico, I'd be hopping that damn border every day. But disincentivizing, taking the carrots away. So holding people who hire illegals responsible, those types of things, giving local law enforcement more authority in Idaho. I would like to hear some things on illegal immigration. I would like to hear some things. I think we're going to hear some kind of something about DEI. I
Sure.
don't really think it would be like what you or I would like, but I think they're going to touch on some of these subjects. Like, we want to be here, and I think we're going to hear some of this. But I don't know. We'll see.
Now, this will be your first session with a new president in power in Washington, with Donald Trump coming in. Do you suspect, we've kind of already seen a little bit of Governor Little's, trying to, at least publicly feeling like he's cozying up to the MAGA agenda, if you will. I mean, did you expect to come into to this session with Trump at the helm, with immigration being such a huge topic? I mean, this is the area you just mentioned. You would kind of want to see have some heads roll in the right directions on this.
Yeah. I mean, probably come fall, I was hoping Trump would get in, but I mean, earlier in the year, I'm like, well, I got to be careful what I say, right? There was a lot of shenanigans going on in the 2020 election. I'm like, what's to stop them from doing it again? I think we have some election integrity. Well, we do have some election integrity issues that need to be shored up, but being in this role in the state Senate under Trump as the president is kind of delightful, if I could use that word, because a lot of Trump's agenda, or at least what he has said, is what several people in the Capitol, we have the same agenda. So, it'd be great to see the executive branch fall in line with a lot of Trump's agenda, especially on, I think, number one, like top of the list, is illegal immigration. So yeah, it should be kind of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, Trump, it's funny to think that Trump may be a unifying force, but at least within the Republican Party, he's that's a big aim for him, to be that unifying force. And since we've got, a supermajority here in Idaho, there's no reason why it can't be moving forward. I want to ask you about a couple of bills that you brought last year that seemed to hit a wall. One, you already mentioned DEI. The other was the anti-SLAPP legislation that you wanted to get through. Are you planning on bringing those things back? Is there any modifications to what you're doing, or are you you're going to hopefully use the big conservative coalition and everything we just spoke about as wind at your back for this?
Yeah, I'm bringing both of those back. So I'm working with a few other people. We've worked all summer on a really good bill to just completely eradicate DEI in higher education specifically. Even though I think it's a cancer that needs to be torn out everywhere. but you can't do everything in one bill. So working with, we came up with, I think, a very solid piece of legislation that I think would be this, if it passes, would definitely be probably the strongest bill we've seen in any of the states. So that's one thing, DEI, and why we have to do that. People said, well, Boise State closed their gender studies center, and some of the colleges are closing their DEI, and the State Board of Education passed a resolution saying, they're dealing with the DEI problem. But those are arbitrary actions. They could just come back tomorrow and say, we're not going to follow that resolution. So it needs to be done in statute, which is why we're still pursuing it on the DEI stuff. Anti-SLAPP's coming back. There's not one word changed. That bill should have passed last year, but there was like a political hit job on me from a few people who literally, I've been told by the source, didn't want it to pass because it would give me a win, which is
unbelievable,
pretty pathetic. But those people are gone, some of them, most of them. And anti-SLAPP is one of those things that it's one of those rare issues where Democrats and Republicans agree on it nationwide, because it's something that protects free speech for everybody. So I expect that to pass. I expect to get that to Governor Little's desk this session. So we're definitely bringing that back. I think we're in a better position to get it out of the Senate for sure. The House, I don't foresee any problems there, but we'll see.
Yeah. One of the things that our organization is doing, Citizens Alliance of Idaho, over the past couple of months, is we've been collecting signatures again to back any kind of bill that would prevent local and government agencies across the state from mandating the wearing of masks. For just, a blanket, public wide mandate of wearing masks. And we accumulated over 1,400 signatures again. 2 years ago, we did it. We got 1,800 signatures. And, but these bills, there's been at least 5 bills that have just, died going to your side of the chain. I don't even necessarily need to blame you, but but they pass overwhelmingly in the House, and then when they get to the Senate, they just disappear into the ether. I'm going to deliver those petitions. I'm going to give them to everybody in the Senate. I'll give you a hard copy of the whole file of everybody's names and zip codes on there. You were part of a bill last year. What about that? How's that going?
Same. Again, bringing the same bill back. So the problem is not the bill. The problem is it's politics, right? Some people, there's many people in this building who give too much weight to what lobbyists want or what lobbyists think. But I've said many times publicly and privately and personally, I say all the time, we're not here to serve. I'm not here. And a lot of my colleagues are not here to serve lobbyists. We're here to serve the people. So, I had a bill that would prohibit mask mandates in any kind of state institution, including schools, city, state, like any kind of Idaho political subdivision. So that bill passed the House last year. I had to go present it in the committee. We even had a Democrat vote for it last year in 2024. Passed with a veto-proof majority. Got over to the Senate and they wouldn't even let me hear it. So we will see. We've had a change in leadership. We've had some different committees, shift around. So I know it would pass the House because I actually had to have it pass the House twice because we had to do a slight tweak to it. So it passed the House twice. It passed the committees. It passed the floor. It got to the Senate. No hearing. So I'm, those types of issues, those personal kind of health freedom issues are pretty top of the list for me. So I'm definitely, that one's already, on the shelf, ready to introduce again as well. So I'm cautiously optimistic for some of these things because most of these things have been blocked by Republicans in our own caucus. So I'm hoping with some different changes in leadership and things like that, we can get some of these things through. Because like you said, we have a Republican supermajority in this state. We should be able to do whatever we want.
Man.
But we should be able to. Well, the political reality is not that, but I'm hopeful. Some of this stuff is wait and see,
Yeah, and it's a new vibe. I mean, you feel the shift in that's happening in Washington, and we don't, we pay attention to it, and here at the Signal we focus on Idaho. I know that's your main goal is focusing on Idaho, even though you comment online about national stuff. How can you not? But
Yeah.
there's a huge vibe shift happening, and it's happening in Idaho as well, and we've got a lot of momentum. And so I wish you the best of luck. Where can people follow you, Senator, to keep tabs on your work and support your efforts here?
I'm on X, which I have a lot of fun on there, as you know. But if someone goes to votelenny.com, all my stuff is linked up and contact info, et cetera, et cetera. But probably X is the best place to follow me. And then if you go to my website, like votelenny.com, I believe there's a link at the top that says newsletter. If you get on my email newsletter, that's the very best way to like keep in touch with what I'm doing. Because all throughout session, I send updates about things I'm working on and bills and who did what and that kind of thing. So my email list is a pretty good place to be, as well as X.
Awesome. Great. Yeah, there it is, guys. Votelenny.com. All right, Senator. We'll check in